Hello and welcome to Franchise Hockey Manager 4 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager. With me as always and pictured on your screen is FHM Producer Jeff. And we are back to the past, playing with the Canada's 8th favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
So they didn't even have 8 Canadian teams in the league at this point.
Yes, well, that's how much I feel.
Or are we we're counting like junior teams and yeah. But anyhow, we're doing pretty well actually. The real Leafs had fallen apart at this point, and I can't remember if they made the playoffs this year or not, but they were well below 500 and heading into their decade of futility. But we have avoided that. We're actually, well, we've got a great record, 42-5-9 through the first 56 games. We'd actually be first in the league if the Islanders weren't even better somehow. They've only lost 2 games all year, I think one of which might have been to us.
It was, yes.
But, hopefully we don't have to look at them again until the finals at least. And, maybe they can get some injuries or something, but they're looking pretty scary at the moment. You see what the roster we've done. We haven't made the trades Toronto had in real life at this point, and we brought in a whole bunch of other guys. Cheated a little bit, signed some free agents that we knew were going to be good, like Joey Mullen, and made some good draft picks. Kevin Lowe, got him playing with Salming on their first defensive pair. But the D is looking a little borderline shaky right now. We may need to pick somebody up at the trading deadline. We've got another just under a month for that.
You wanted to go get Bobby Orr.
That's right. That's what we were thinking of doing, because Bobby Orr is still playing. His knees haven't given out at this point.
Well, they're basically just trash bags, I think, but he's still skating on them.
Yeah, he did miss a big chunk of the previous season. I'm just showing you his career record right now. And but he's bounced back nicely this year. The Hawks, however, have not. They're sort of sitting in the middle of the Smythe division. Not really looking like a contender, slightly below 500. So for the next week or two, we will try to see if we can get War away from them. I mean, he's probably only got another season or 2 left at this point, but I mean, this is probably our best shot at the Cup right now, eh?
Yeah, I think so. But to me, it's still weird. Bobby Orr playing with Chicago. It's just wrong. It feels wrong.
It was weird when it happened too. Almost got the injuries back, but we're gonna. Let me see here. Should I just sim forward about a week? Yeah, I think so. And I think we'll get both of our injuries back or close to it. Now, Tom Steen and Dave Burrows are both back. Good.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Tom Steen playing with us or not?
Yeah, he played most of the season. We had him in the AHL last year. He got that really fast start. I'm just showing you on his pop-up now. Had 18 points in his first 13 AHL games this year. And he's got 24 and 40 for us so far this season. So he, now that he's healthy, is going to go back in. I think Dan Maloney is going to have to come out to make room. Going to have to shuffle the lines around here a bit. And Burrows is healthy. Who do we wind up sitting? Still want Turnbull's offense, so I think Paul Schmier is probably the guy that's going to have to sit. And Norm Rochefort, who's having a pretty solid rookie season. A little ahead of schedule, as is Steen. No, we don't want Steen on the second line. That's a little too much for him at this point.
And hello to Beetlejuice Gudu and Scott Pensfan. And Neely coming in with a great question already. Jeff, I'm assuming you saw Vancouver has unveiled their 3rd jersey for the upcoming season, and it is the return of the pink Vancouver Canucks jerseys.
I'm horribly disappointed. It should have been the V. I voted for the V.
Oh, I'm kidding, of course. It's the Flying Skate is back, which
that's technically what I mean. The one you refer to as the pink jersey is a Flying Skate still.
Yeah, but it's not the Flying Skate.
And I'm going to sim this one instead of going ahead because we got the Islanders. And let's see.
We can all agree that one is miles better than their current jersey still.
And we get shut out 3-0 by the Islanders. Outshot pretty handily too, so that's going to be tough in the playoffs. But yeah, I'd be perfectly happy if they went back to the
Flying Skate.
Star Wars. No, not the Flying Skate. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. It looked okay, but I like the old 80s ones, early 80s. And got the Rangers up here, Dion the backup in, and we blow them out 9-3. Another big game from Michel Goulet, who actually, if I remember right, was near the top of league scoring. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, you can see why the Islanders are doing this well. Prache and Bossy are just running away with the scoring race. Goulet is actually in 4th overall, and Gretzky, who I think was injured for a little bit, slightly farther back, and doesn't have quite the sporting cast he did at this time in real life in Edmonton.
No. Now, here's a question I don't really know the answer to, Jeff. I'm hoping you do. Is the whale that they named the Canucks after, or when they redid the jerseys in the late 90s, is that whale still alive?
You're assuming there was an actual whale that they named it after?
Well, there was. It was an orca whale they had at the Vancouver Aquarium.
No, I think I can't remember what they do with that. They don't have whales at the aquarium anymore. I know that, but I'm just going to sim it to the end of next month. But yeah, I'm not sure if they moved him or they just waited until. I don't think he's around anymore. Because I don't think they moved him anywhere. I think he just passed away, and then they shut down the whale pool after they were out of whales.
That would make sense, but I really didn't know if he was still alive or not.
Because I don't think they would have shipped him off to SeaWorld or somewhere like that.
Well, even SeaWorld's getting rid of their
yeah,
whales.
That's... a friend of mine used to work at the one in Florida. I know... You remember when they had the guy who... They found the guy floating in the pool, the guy who'd stuck into the park overnight one night?
Yep.
My friend of a friend was the dude who found him. Kind of a nasty surprise when you go into your office in the morning and your office looked out into the whale pool and you see, hey, there's a couple of legs hanging down there that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of morbid. All right, what do we got? 9 days till a trading deadline.
Well, Brian Label is offering to bring you to a Buffalo Sabres game if you're ever in Buffalo.
Well, if I'm ever in Buffalo, I'll take you up on that. I haven't been in Buffalo in a long time. Last time I was there was probably the late 90s, I guess.
When the Dominator was playing.
I just remember that the Canucks had picked up Brad May at that point, and I was talking to the taxi driver about it. And you know, it's a good hockey city when you can have that kind of a conversation with one of the cab drivers. Okay. March 1st. Oh, so let's go after Bobby Orr. Question is, what do we give him?
Not a lot.
We don't really have much to offer them D-wise. Start with Trevor Johansson, but that's not going to be nearly enough. And have I got a forward that's got some unfulfilled potential? Not really. Somebody I got on the farm team right now, maybe not. Oh, Randy Cunningworth's 2 stars. That's, I guess I could. The scout thinks it's a well-balanced offer already. I think the scout is being overly optimistic.
Well, it doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Gonna try a second rounder 2 years from now. And he thinks they'll probably accept it, so giving up Johansson, Cunnyworth, and a second.
Drop it to a third rounder.
Okay, dropping it to a third rounder. He still thinks they'll accept it.
Drop it to a fourth. We don't need to give up that much for 32-year-old Bobby Orr, who's getting injured lots.
Chat question. Beetlejuice 350. Is it true that the Penguins changed their uniforms to the black and gold in early 1980 to honor the Pirates and the Steelers? Yes, it absolutely is. I remember, I think they announced that on draft day, and I think it was draft day 81, if I remember right.
Something like that. And that's when Boston got all mad.
I mean, the black and gold does look much better than the blue and lighter blue. Montreal and the Flyers making a trade. Jim Poplinski for Bob Daly. So the Fly of Montreal also loading up on D.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Pittsburgh-Boston situation and the jersey colors, that's a pretty fun little read.
And we cruise to a 5-1 win there over LA, so we can basically beat anybody in the league fairly handily, except the Islanders, but it looks like we may be able to fix that because the Hawks have accepted our trade.
And what about Montreal?
I think we can take Montreal. I think we've beaten them a couple of times this year, but we're getting Orr for Johansson, Cunnyworth, and the draft pick. I don't know how much longer he's going to be around, but Bobby Orr is now Maple Leaf. And
that's really wrong.
What's really wrong is he going to ask for 4, and Kevin Lowe has it already, so I might have to take that away from Lowe.
No, give Bobby Orr 44.
Okay, he wants 4, currently worn by Kevin Lowe. I don't think we've ever done this before, giving somebody else's number away, but we're about to do it, and let's see what happens. And Lowe is very unhappy. Come on, dude, it's Bobby Orr. And Lowe gets number 44. So hopefully, have we made Lowe particularly unhappy? Apparently not. He's just sort of neutral at the moment. He's got the flat line happy face. Now, what do we do here? We need to move another defenseman out. And I think that is where Ian Turnbull is going to have to start sitting because he's just slipped too far and isn't good enough defensively. But he was actually on the 4th pair, so I'm going to have to let the assistant redo the lines. Okay, yeah, and he's got Orr on the first line as it should.
Bobby Orr playing first line right wing. Like it.
First pair, I mean.
I don't know. He could be pretty talented and effective first line right winger.
I'm sure he could, but kind of a waste not to put the best defenseman of all time on defense. And for our first game, we get the Canucks.
Well, that's an easy win.
Van Hanel in goal. Thank you for jinxing us. It's a 6-6 tie. Wow, Keith Crowder, 3 goals, 2 assists.
Jeff, we all know you programmed it in to make sure Vancouver doesn't actually ever beat, or we don't actually lose to Vancouver.
Yeah, sure. And not a fantastic game for Orr. 1 shot on goal, missed one. 1 hit, 1 takeaway. Didn't really do anything particularly wrong, but not really that productive offensively. But yeah, career night for Keith Crowder. We've currently got a 15-point cushion on top of the Adams. This is the 1-16 playoff system, so division standings don't really mean anything at all here. Montreal making another trade, this time with the Kings, just swapping a couple of minor leaguers for Mikko Lainanen, who looks like he was... Oh, that's the other way around. The Kings are giving up the minor leaguers for Lainanen, which will probably wind up playing a little more prominently for them. Trade deadline is the 10th, so we got 3 days. Let's take a quick look at the... Oops. We're good. We've got no injuries. I wanted to have a look at the trading block, but there's absolutely nothing of interest around the league, it looks like. Only player better than half a star is Claire Alexander, former Leaf. Went on to the WHA. Everybody else is pretty much junk, so I don't think we're going to get another...
Ratcast is complaining in the chat about...
Yeah, I just saw that. You like the 1-16 system? The only problem with 1-16 is you could get some really messed up travel schedules early in the playoffs. Like, I think Vancouver drew Montreal in the first round one year.
Yeah, who wants to go to Vancouver?
So, I mean, if you get lucky, you can get a really, like, virtually no travel through 3 rounds, or you could wind up being cross-country for all 3. And we win another easy one over the Flames. I'm just going to continue day by day until we at least get to the trading deadline. Gretzky is up to a 14-game point streak. I don't think I'm going to mess with the rosters too much at this point, and it's another shutout for us, 4-0 win.
Excellent.
Oddly enough, the Orr doesn't seem to be producing much for us yet.
Maybe he's not fitting our style very well.
1 assist in 3 games, +2 though.
If he's not being a defensive liability, that's the most important thing, let's be honest.
Okay, last day of the trading deadline. Take a last look at the roster. Palmateer's playing well. Goalie is probably our biggest weakness right now. Palmateer looks like he's actually slipped a little bit. He's down to 2 stars. I think he was 2.5 at one point. But Dion's doing reasonably well as a backup, although I should... I'm going to go over to the goalie starts and... Let's see. I'm going to cut down the backup usage going into the home stretch here. And we're past the trading deadline. No big deals really. One relatively small one. Boston and the Flyers. A couple of minor leaguers. I guess Glenn Cochran's the biggest name going from the Flyers to Boston. Cochran used to live in Kelowna here. And 5-4 win over the Bruins. Okay, and I think we can go to the end of March without having to worry about anything else.
Ratcast says, I think Chicago that lost a home playoff game in a 3-game series because of a Zeppelin concert in 1980.
Yeah, and I remember the Leafs got screwed up one year because Harold Ballard booked Yes into Maple Leaf Gardens, assuming the Leafs were going to miss the playoffs. And it turned out they didn't, so they had to juggle things around.
One of the best ones I recall reading about was the Chicago Cougars of the WHA.
Okay,
they actually had their ice taken out for a circus in the middle of the playoffs.
Big problem. Lanny McDonald, bruised spine, out for 1 to 2 months. So, have I?
Trade him.
Yes, I'll somehow trade him 2 weeks after the trading deadline.
Force trade.
Okay, I'm gonna shuffle. I think. I think we're gonna try Mullen on the first line in his spot. Let's see. Puts Mullen there. McDonald and Jerry Butler goes into McDonald's spots. That is a big hit right before the playoffs, so let's hope he recovers fast. Just a little curious when I look at the stats because I keep seeing Gretzky's name in the point leaders. Yeah, he's creeping up on. Well, Bossy's having a huge year, 161 points. Yeah, Beetlejuice Ballard isn't the worst NHL owner of all time. He's probably in the top 3. I'd say that's a fairly fair bet. He pretty much wrecked the Leafs for the better part of a decade.
John Spano is worse. Ratcast says, can you force a trade after the deadline? No. But you could cheat a trade, I guess.
You could edit, which we're not going to do, because my name's not Adam.
I have never done such a thing.
Specifically. You haven't done that one specifically.
Hey, I haven't done a lot of those.
Okay, development report. Well, yeah, Crowder taking a big leap forward there. A lot of the other younger guys developing, and none of the guys going downhill. That's just all our veterans down in, where are we? In New Brunswick, I think? Yeah, New Brunswick.
Yes.
Playing out of Moncton, if I remember right. And we got 3 games left for the playoffs, and we are... Oh, Montreal's actually crept up on us, so we need to... We want to be guaranteed to hopefully avoid the Islanders. We've still got to get a couple of wins here at the end. And playing Orr's old team, the Hawks, 9-3 win for us, and how does Orr do against them? 1 assist. Relatively modest start for him. I'm going to take a quick look at his point total. Are they even? Let's see, they're using Randy Cunningworth, who was one of our draft picks last year and was one of the guys we traded. Oh, and Johansson was in there too, so they're at least using the players we sent them. Orr has 6 points in 14 games. Wow. That's kind of worrying. Let's hope he picks it up in the playoffs.
That's fine. You're worrying too much.
And 2 games to go. We've got a board confidence update. Great success. Apparently we're being run by Borat.
Then that.
Okay, back-to-back against the Nordiques to close out the season. Did Montreal lose there? Okay, yeah, we're up 3 points on Montreal, so I think we win one of these and we're good. And Quebec is probably just clinging to a playoff spot. So
we should throw the game, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Palmatier is going to start this one, but I'll go with Dion for the last game if we win this, and it's a nothing. And we do win it, 5-0 shutout for Palmatier. Tiger Williams with 3 points. And yeah, that does it. We clinched 2nd place overall. Looks like the Islanders have lost only 5 games all season. So they're actually ahead of, I think, the 77 Canadiens for the all-time points list. Probably the best season ever. Gonna swap Turnbull in for Quenneville for this one game. just to see what happens. And I want Dion in goal because Palmateer is red hot going into the playoffs. That's great news. And it's a 2-2 tie against Quebec, but not a big deal. So do we
all things considered, there's worse ways to end the year.
Yeah, no playoff tree yet.
How's Lanny doing?
I'll check that in a sec. Just going to go through the awards nominees first. Nobody for Hart. Not Vezina. No, Salming didn't get a Norris. Nothing in the Calder. Come on, we got to get... Okay, we're up for GM of the Year, finally. About time.
Well, just because you said that, we won't win it now, but...
And do we get a Coach of the Year nomination too? Yep, we do. So you'd think out of the two of those we should be able to get at least one, right? Right?
Probably not, no.
Okay, and Lanny McDonald is, drumroll, 2 to 3 weeks out. So we get past the first rounds, I think we're probably going to lose him for the first 2 series. But if we get the semis, we should be getting him back sometime in there.
If you said we're going to lose one of these series?
No, I said we're going to lose him for the series. I think I said that. That's what I meant.
I heard we're going to lose one of the first 2 series.
Okay, where are we on here? We got Washington in the first round, so... I'll just go up to the game. Oh, I should have swapped Palmateer, swapped Turnbull back out. I'll do that for game 2. Palmateer in goal. And just having a quick look at their lineup. Well, they got Neil Broughton, but this is... Yeah, this isn't too impressive. I think the real Caps are actually better than that at this point. Oh, they got Larry Murphy. Several years early. Eddie Beers, another Kelowna guy. And I got Tony Esposito in goal, but Palmateer continues to be hot and gets us a 1-0 shutout in game 1. And I'm just going to swap Quenneville back in for Turnbull. And this first round is best of 5. It's not best of 7 like it would be now. Oh, Lanny McDonald is ready to resume skating. So good news, he's ahead of schedule. Wonder if his injury highlight has changed up to 1 to 2 weeks left. So that's a pleasant surprise. Looks like we'll have him back for round 2. And
if we make it to round 2.
Well, we just won 5-3, so we're up 2-0 on the Caps. Now let's hope we can get a sweep here. Oh, we lose 6-5 in overtime. That's a bit of a disappointment.
Uh-oh.
Anybody hurt? No. We're not going to blow it.
Uh-oh.
We're not going to blow it because I just said we're not going to blow it.
That's red alarm fire, like lights flashing.
5-1 win in game 4.
Ratcat says Tonio wearing number 8 is an abomination.
Is he wearing 8? Why is he doing that? That shouldn't be possible. Yeah, he's number 8. What the heck? I'll have to check that. That shouldn't. There's no way that should happen for a goalie. Unless he's got something. Well, no, the data wouldn't be. There wouldn't be an 8 in there. I'll have to check that first, but that shouldn't be possible. Anyhow, regardless of that, we win the first round. See, the Islanders swept the Rangers. No surprise there. Montreal swept Quebec. St. Louis and Calgary still going. LA and the Sabres still going. Flyers swept the Hawks without Bobby Orr. Bruins over up over Hart for 2-1, and Vancouver knocked off by Edmonton in 3. So pretty much your typical early 80s Canucks result with the exception of that 1 year.
You mean the year where they went way farther than they ever should have?
Yeah, and guess who we get in the second round? It's Edmonton. Well, the Whalers upset Boston, so they get the Islanders.
How fun for them.
Flyers in Montreal, that should be a pretty good series, and Buffalo St. Louis, another tough one. So we've got to deal with Gretzky, but is Lanny McDonald almost back? Oh, he's down to day-to-day, so we're going to have him back somewhere in this series. Do I need to change anything else? Don't think so. Make sure Palmateer's starting. Let's take a quick look at the Oilers to what they've got at this point. So they've got the first line, Messier and Gretzky, and Ben Gustafsson, who wound up in Washington in real life, but he'd actually played for Edmonton and WHA, but I think he... can't remember if he left prior to the merger and signed with Washington, or that happened right at the merger. But look at the second and third line. Walt McKechnie, who's our cast-off, is their third-line center. Blaine Stoughton, who had a comeback at this point in his career, but doesn't look like he's doing much in this. And they got Jamie McCowan, who's kind of surprising to see him in the league that early. But on D, look at this. No Coffey, no Lowe. They got Risto Seltman in the second pair, and Roger Ruotsalainen, who's sort of their traditional playoff pickup in the mid-'80s, but they've got him here full-time. Yeah, we can beat these guys. Game one, just going to sim it, and it's a 5-3 win for us. Stan Weir, ex-Leaf, had a couple of points for them, but not enough. I'll start playing the individual games once we get to the next round. And a 6-4 win in Game 2. Gretzky had 3 points, still not enough though, and Bobby Orr finally picks it up. 2 assists, and he's the first star. So Orr against Gretzky, I don't think they ever actually played against each other in a real game. No, because Orr would have been retired by then, unless they played one of those at WHA NHL exhibition games in the season or two before. Or the one season.
They might have, but I can't.
Don't think so. I had a list somewhere of the interleague games, and I don't think Gretzky was in there anywhere.
I'll take your word for it, because I don't know off the top of my head.
And I'm going to sim that. And Ratcast, I'm just looking at up here when I'm doing the final score after the team name. And you can also... well, no, that's really the best place to see it on this screen. So 5-4 win for the Oilers in Game 3. So we're now down to up 2-1. Gretzky with 5 points, so he's doing it all for him.
As expected.
Yeah, I mean, he's the whole team at this point. Well, Messier's there. Oh, Lanny McDonald is almost ready to come back, although he's still got the Red Cross, so we can't play him yet.
You mean Connect legend Mark Messier?
Had to get that in, didn't you?
Every time.
Okay, I'm going to sim this. And they beat us 7-4. Gretzky another 5-point game. This is getting worrying.
What, the Gretzky things?
Okay, what do I do here? Lanny McDonald is technically ready to play. I think he's got to go in. Now, even though he's a little banged up, just wondering if there's anything else I should change here. Take a look at my playoff stats, see how everybody's playing right now. So first line doing great. Keith Crowder getting some points off the third line. D could be scoring a little more. Salming and Orr both have 6 points in 8 games. But
that's not bad at all.
I'm not seeing any major issues anywhere really, so I'm going to stick with this lineup for this game. Making sure Palmetier's still in. Edmonton beats us 4-3. Guess who? Gretzky, another first star, 3 points. So, backs against the wall here, really. Oh, and Brian Trottier, day-to-day injury for the Islanders, so could be slowing them down a little. I'm going to look at the playoffs. They've already swept the Whalers. Montreal swept the Flyers, and Buffalo up 3-2 on St. Louis. So the usual teams that have been doing well in this game are back at the top again. Try Turnbull in for Quenneville again, just on the theory that we need the points. And since this is potentially going to eliminate us, I'm going to play the game out.
Because that usually works. How did Orr end up on your team? I missed that, Ratcat says.
Traded for him just shortly before the trading deadline. He didn't retire at the end of '79 like he did in real life. He's managed a decent season with the Hawks, although he hasn't scored a whole bunch for us.
He's done exactly as expected.
Yeah, not a lot of offense from us. But nothing with about 5 minutes left in the first, so looks like it's going to be another close one. Problem is, Gretzky in a close game is not something you want to be playing against. Tactically, we've got a pretty big edge on that even strength, so just don't take any penalties and we'll be okay. But we could really use a goal against Eddie Mayo here. And former Leaf Stan Weir scores on the power play. I told you not to take penalties, guys. We're generating a little bit of offense now, and Bobby Smith ties it up for us. And Michel Goulet makes it 2-1, playing 4-on-4. And this is still at the point where I don't think we've actually got that in a game where 4-on-4 penalties don't require you to don't go back to even strength. Trying to hold the lead here. Gretzky beats Palmatier with 10 minutes to go. Come on, get some shots. Been stuck on 24 for most of the period. Okay, going into overtime, we've got a 1 minute and 10 seconds of a penalty to kill to start it off. Take a quick look at tactics, strategy screen. There's not really anything I want to change there. As long as we get out of this first minute or so, we should be okay. And Joe Micheletti scores with about 16 seconds left in the penalty to end our season.
I'm sorry, you cut out right there for me. To end our
season.
Oh.
You know,
remember when you said this would be a breeze? It's
Gretzky. It's about a year early before he started doing this in real life, but... Oh, and Lanny McDonald's back to 100%. Thanks, Lanny. That's fantastic. So
well,
let's
good
just
thing you put him in the lineup. He certainly helped.
Pray that Orr doesn't retire in the off-season. We might be able to have another shot at this next year.
Sign him to a contract extension.
Oh, good point. We should be paying attention to that right now. You can't lose guys to unrestricted free agency at this point, but I also don't want to...
Sign him to a 4-year deal.
Let's see, I got to sign Bobby Smith. I want to sign
Judy, we all know this is Jeff's fault. Don't be mad.
Why does it always seem to be my fault?
You're the one who jinxed us.
Ah, okay.
Oh, whoa, of course we're going to win this.
Okay, Orr wants a 3-year deal. I'll give it to him. If he's going to be optimistic and think he's going to be, thinks he'll stick around that long, I'm okay with that.
You might not, but that probably means he won't retire this year.
Yeah, it does decrease the odds of their retirement if they've got an active contract with years left on it. So any bets on who wins the Cup? Real life would have been the Islanders, and we've replicated the real life Cup champions both years in this game so far.
I would say it's very likely going to be the Islanders still.
And Hall of Fame nominations. Let's see, I'm going to go with Turk Broda, who's Brandon native, if I remember right, isn't he?
Not sure off the top of my head. Quick Google says...
Somewhere in Winnipeg, or somewhere in Manitoba.
Brandon, Manitoba, yes.
Yeah, I can set the AI to do the contracts for me, but that's not really as flexible as I'd want it to be. I want to do the stuff on my own. Butler, 31 headed downhill. He's debatable. No, it's a little too much. I think I'm going to let him walk. Maloney is also headed downhill. He can probably go. Quenneville, I want to... Oh, I've got an offer out to him already. Burroughs is worth re-signing. He's still at two stars. And Dion, the backup goalie. Finance is just not really a huge concern at this point. I've got lots of budget room. Burroughs, Dion, and Quenneville all signed. That leaves the only guys with expiring contracts. Did I make Schmier an offer yet? He's 35. I'm not sure that's worth doing. Maybe I should make Maloney an offer. I'm a little thin on left wing. Maloney gets an offer, Butler doesn't, and I'll just check the farm team. Curtin and Farish are worth re-signing. And anybody else? I think I'll give Boudreau a new contract just on the off chance that we get really hit bad by injuries and need a scoring center. Stuart Smith too, I guess. Or is that Stuart Smith or no? That's Stuart Smith.
I don't know. There's something funny about saying scoring center and Bruce Boudreau.
He was a huge scorer in the AHL. Just never really could do it in the NHL.
Just his coaching style now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to lose Butler and Schmier. I'll pick up something in a draft to replace them. Don't really need to worry about that too much.
Now, this is a pretty big draft, and we do have an extra first rounder, do we not?
I believe so. No, you're wrong. We've just got our own picks minus our 4th and 6th rounders.
All right. Getting them confused. Games confused, I guess.
Yeah, that's I think the one you're thinking of, the modern game. And the Islanders up 2-0 on the Oilers already. The Islanders haven't lost a game in these playoffs. Looks like they might be heading for another rematch with Montreal.
Good Creative with an excellent question for you, Jeff. How did Maloney get the nickname Snowshoes?
I don't actually remember that one. Maybe skating, reference to his skating style, I guess. Wasn't the prettiest skater, but I mean he was playing with guys like Tiger Williams, so he looked good by comparison. Yeah, the Islanders swept the Oilers 4-0. And Buffalo only took one game in Montreal, so we got a rematch of last year's final, and the Islanders are already up 1-0 in the final. And the Islanders win the Cup again. So we are 3 for 3 on replicating historical Cup champions in this replay. And the Islanders actually swept the Canadiens, so they did not lose a single playoff game.
A quick Google comes up and says your assumption was absolutely right. His nickname was Snowshoes due to his poor skating style.
So the Islanders with 2 Swedish goalies roll over the rest of the league. And they actually did that without Trotche, it looks like. Out with corneal abrasion. And the scary thing is they're still relatively young. They've moved a lot of the guys that, some of the older guys that they had in real life. Boy, yeah, this is... Well, right wing starting to slip a little bit, maybe, slightly. But yeah, they're scary top to bottom, and they're going to get... Pelle Lindbergh is going to improve in goals, so they're good for another year or two. I still think we can beat them, though. We've got about 10 minutes left here, so I think we got enough time to get around to the draft. What do you think?
I think so. It's not like we have to waste a lot of time simming.
Yep, it's historical mode, so it rips through that really quickly. I'm already into June. Oh, oops, and Hall of Fame vote. So some of these guys should be all in the Hall of Fame already. Something's not right here in the game. Hall, Bathgate, Harvey. Gotta check how that's working. That's... See, most of those guys should have been in the Hall to begin when we started. Oops, got our contract renewal. Don't want to skip that. Signed for another 4 seasons. And our season summary. Let's see. Got check marks and everything except the last 2 categories, so we should have a pretty decent score here. Score 30 to add to our career score, which is now 70, and I've got 6 points to redistribute. See, negotiating comes up 1.
For that matter, you should just check free agents in case somebody's interesting on there.
Well, day before July 1st, or shouldn't be anything?
No, but I mean when you get to July 1st.
Yeah. And we will be there in a second. Any interesting retirements? Phil Esposito hangs them up. Lasted a little longer than he did. Pretty bad, so yeah, kind of a weak couple of seasons in New York for him, so he probably should have gone earlier. Wayne Cashman, his former line mate, retiring at the same time. That's actually ahead of schedule. Lauren Henning, future coach, also retiring. Another future coach, Rick Lay. And Barry Long, the Jets' first captain, retires. Oh, another ex from the Bruin guy from those 70s teams, Don Marcotte, retired too. And Paul Schmier, who we didn't get offer a contract, is retired. Development update, nothing particular. Oh, Salming lost a point. That's not good. And Curtin, too, who's only 23. What? You have to check the training settings there. And we've actually got the rebuild expectation for this year, so the owner isn't too optimistic for us. Now, free agents. Yeah, just nothing. There's Jerry Butler, who he let go. Jack Brown Shuttle, who's...
now, you normally wouldn't expect to find anything, but you should always check just in case.
Yeah, just in case, but there's just nothing here this time. Warren Young, who had that one freak season playing on Mario Lemieux's wing. I actually think I'm going to sign him. I think he was in the IHL at this point. He's cheap, and it's a little bit of depth. I don't know if he's ever going to turn into anything. But I'll let that go. And we'll get around to the draft. Couple of draft day trades. Well, the Islanders apparently weren't happy with their goaltending situation. And they picked up Murray Bannerman from Vancouver for, oh wow, their first round pick. Oh, and they traded, okay, that's why they did that. They traded their starter last year to Goran Hagasta to Colorado for a second rounder. So let's see, they give up a first rounder and their starting goalie and get the Canucks back up a second rounder. That doesn't seem like a great trade for the Islanders, so maybe that knocks them down a little bit. Draft day is the 3rd, that is tomorrow. Got just enough time to do this. And Warren Young doesn't like our offer for some reason. Did he get a better one somewhere, I guess? So we probably won't see how that turned out this week. Ah, there we go, it's draft day. And drafting first overall, Winnipeg Jets. We are drafting at number 20 because we finished second in the regular season. There's 21 teams. And yeah, look at that. That is a crazy loaded draft. McInnes, Gilmore, Fuhr, Hawerchuk, Francis, Van Beesbrook, James Patrick, Gary Galley, Mike Ridley, on and on. So there might be something decent at 20, maybe, hopefully. And I'm just going to do the pick until human. Let's see who the first few picks were. The Jets didn't go for Hawerchuk. They took Al McInnes at number 1. And the Penguins get Hawerchuk instead.
Okay, we need to go fire the Jets GM, right?
That's not a bad deal. I mean, Al McInnes would have done okay for you guys.
He would have, but...
Ron Francis doesn't go till number 6 overall to the Rangers. And the Rockies wind up with Grant Fuhr. That's funny. Canucks get Tony Tanti, who was drafted by Chicago but wound up playing for them. A couple of bad picks there. Gord Shervin for Montreal. That's kind of questionable. And our options are the only 2.5-star guy left is Pelle Eklund. Flyer in real life. He's a center, and we're pretty. Are we for? I mean, we could move somebody over. We already got one Swedish center.
Okay. Radical thought: we trade out of the pick.
Oh, but there's something else here. Mike Vernon is available. He's only got 2-star potential, but he's probably going to be better than that. That's probably going to be the best shot we've got at a decent goalie for a while. I think I'm going to do that.
All right.
The Calgary Wranglers. And I'm assuming... Yeah, the Canucks took Eklund within their very next pick. That one they got in the Islanders trade. And from here on in, it's looking a little bit rough. Oh, Scott Arniel. Grab him. Jets second rounder this year in real life. And should probably get a defenseman here. I'm looking for... Oh no, we've got 2 guys in the 2 1.5-star guys left. One of them's Vladimir Ruzicka, who's not going to come over because he's in the Czech Republic, still behind the Iron Curtain at this point. But Sheldon, who was good for like a quarter of a season in Montreal one year. but it's some right wing depth, and I think I go with D the rest of the way because there's a lot of 1-star guys. So I'm going to take Delane because he's clearly better than anybody else that's available. And let's see, Ilya Byakin, he's in Russia, he's not coming. Daryl Stanley, pretty tough defenseman. Steve Smith, that's not the good Steve Smith, that's the other Steve Smith. Al Tour, another tough guy. Perze, I don't remember that name at all, I'd have to look him up. But yeah, I think it's got to go with Daryl Stanley here. Last I heard, he was actually the Manitoba scout for the Canucks. And that is the end of the draft. And looks like Young might sign with us. Unsigned draftee list. Get all these guys on deals. So not like we added a ton of talent in the draft, but I think we've got enough to make another run at this next season. And notably, Orr didn't retire, so that's good news. So we'll see if a 32-year-old Bobby Orr can get us to a cup. And we got a new team this year. The Cincinnati Tigers are our CHL farm team. Old Central League. Adam's excited because he just finished telling me that he spent a bunch of time redoing the logo for the Cincinnati Tigers, so we'll use that next week, or the week after.
Yes. Just about have my next update on the pack. Just about finish all the CHL.
Yep, should be ready in time for FHM 5, you think?
The CHL ones will be for sure. The next set's going to be tougher.
And I think that I'll probably finish the off-season housekeeping and run us up to the end of the preseason before our next game. But I think we can leave it off here. So, in summary, disappointing season. Oh, I didn't even check the awards. Let me go back and see if we actually won anything. I don't think so, though. I think we would have. Did I miss the awards announcements?
I don't even recall who won the Stanley Cup, so...
That would have been the Islanders again.
Was it? Okay.
Got to go back and look at the history to see who won the awards. And which of the coaching awards on? Oh, we got GM of the Year for getting swept in the playoffs. We didn't get the Adams. That went to the Islanders coach, apparently.
Which is probably where it should have went.
But, I mean, that... Oh, we've got a season preview here I forgot to look at. 81-82 preview. Are they going to call us a favorite again? What do you think?
No.
Oh, that's just the announcement of any format changes to the league. That's not the actual season preview. We won't get that until the start of the preseason. But let's see, just taking a quick look at the team. With have to do this again after training camp, but no major changes that I can see. Oh no, Orr is down to 2.5 stars. That's not great.
What do you mean down to 2.5 stars?
He was 3 stars before.
Oh.
So he's slipping. He's still got some. Only had 7 points in 16 games after we picked him up, though. 74 points season, but most of that was with the Hawks. I think we can leave it off there, I guess.
Right.
Save that, and we can get back to this in a couple of weeks. And sign us out?
Sure. Thank you very much for tuning into another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/OOTP Developments. If you're not following us on Facebook, why not? I mean, it's pretty simple. You just go to facebook.com, type in facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. You'll also find a link to our official Discord on there as well. In our Twitter profile. If you want to, come down to our website, sign up for the newsletter, because, it might be an important thing to do in the not too distant future. And you can come on down to our official website forums, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, and that'll bring you down to our official website forums, talking about Franchise Hockey Manager, Out of the Park Baseball, MLB Manager, or anything else. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully we'll start some FHM 5 news coming for you guys soon, but nothing to announce quite yet. But we will be back next week with your modern Florida Panthers game, which hopefully we don't get
I believe you mean
upset in the playoffs again.
Florida Pan.
Yeah, I guess you're in the future now, aren't you? When
Yes.
the Panthers are good again.
Of course.
But that's about it. So thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you in a week.